Hello class. Today we are going to start chapter 2 of our history, New Kings and Kingdoms. First, in this chapter you will study about the emergence of new dynasties in North India, the Rashtrakutas, the Palas, the Gurjar Pratiharas, the tripartite struggle, the Rajputs Chauhan kingdom, the Rajputs Chauhan dynasty, administration, economy, society, religion, education, art and architecture of North India. The emergence of new dynasties in North India. This is the map of small kingdoms in North India. After the Gupta age in North India, Harshvardhana was the last great ruler of ancient India. After his death in 647 AD, the whole empire disintegrated into small kingdoms due to the miserable economic condition and lack of proper administration by his weak successors. This was a period of political instability in North India. Three powerful kingdoms arose between 750 AD and 1000 AD out of the ruins of Harsha's empire, and hence this period is also known as the Age of Three Empires. This is the image of Kailash temple at Ellora caves. The Palas took over the control of eastern India, that is Bengal and Bihar region. The Pratiharas in Avanti, that is southern Rajasthan and Gujarat, and the Rashtrakutas in northern part of Deccan. The three main kingdoms, though continuously engaged in wars, were successful in providing stable administration and progressed well. By the 7th century AD, the big landlords or the head of the soldiers got much importance in the kingdom. The kings recognized them as their right hand and gave them the title of Samanta. They were responsible for collection of taxes from the local people and paying it to the king. They controlled the local administration and were free to keep their own soldiers, who helped not only him but also the king in a war against the other kings. Day by day, they became stronger by collecting huge wealth and gaining much power. They started to declare themselves as Mahasamant, Mahamandaleshwar, and then as independent ruler also. For example, the Rashtrakutas of Deccan were subordinate to the Chalukyas of Karnataka. The Rashtrakutas 1753 to 973 AD. The Rajputas established the most powerful empire in North Deccan in 753 AD. They became the master of great area of the present Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra and Karnataka. Their empire acted as a bridge between North and South India. Danti Durg was considered to be the real founder of the Rashtrakuta Empire. Govind III and Amogh Varsha 814 AD to 880 AD were the well-known Rashtrakuta kings. The Rashtrakutas were great warriors, art lovers and scholars. They took up titles like Chakravarti, Maharaja Dhiraj and Param Bhattarak. They maintained huge armies and encouraged trade for prosperity of the people. The Rashtrakutas followed Jainism but also patronized Buddhists, Hindus and Muslims. Rashtrakuta rulers were great patrons of art and learning. Their rule saw the flourishing of regional literature. Rock-cut temples of Ellora belonging to Hindu, Buddhist and Jain sects are a proof of the religious tolerance of Rashtrakutas. King Amogh Varsha himself was a great lover of Sanskrit. He wrote Kavi Raganarga, one of the earliest work in Kannada poetry. By the end of 10th century, the Chalukyas crushed the power of Rashtrakutas and took over the control of their kingdom. The Palas ruled in the region of Bengal, Bihar and Jharkhand. The first ruler of this dynasty was Gopala. The other prominent rulers were the Devpala and Dharmapala, who strengthened the kingdom and encouraged trade with Southwest Asia. The Dharmapala founded the famous Vikramshila University in Bihar and also established a monastery. The dynasty collapsed in 12th century and was succeeded by the rulers of Sena dynasty. This is the image of Vikramshila University. Do you know West Bengal was known as Goda and East Bengal as Banga. The famous Nalanda University was revived during the Pala Empire. The Gurjar Pratiharas. They are also called Gurjara Pratiharas probably because they originated from Gujarat. They ruled over Gujarat and southwestern Rajasthan. The founder of the Pratihara Empire was Nagbhatta. The greatest ruler of this dynasty was Mihir Bhoj. He conquered Kannauj around 836 AD. The continuous battles weakened the Pratihara Empire and it broke into a number of smaller kingdoms. The Pratiharas were great warriors. They fought many battles with the Palas and the Rashtrakutas. The Pratihara kings were also great patrons of art and literature. King Mihir Bhoj himself was a well-known scholar. Regional languages developed at a fast rate under Pratihara rule. During this time, early forms of Marathi and Gujarati were spoken in western India. Bengali, Assamese and Oriya become popular in eastern India. The beautiful temples of Khajuraho, Kanchipuram, Thanjore, Bhubaneswar, Puri and Konark were built during the rule of Pratiharas. The art of miniature painting also started during this period. This is the image of Khajuraho temple. The tripartite struggle. Kannauj was the main center of all political developments in North India. During the period of King Harshvardhana, since it was accessible by the rivers Ganga and Yamuna, its location enabled easy trade relations. Kannauj was rich in soil and attracted the neighboring dynasties. Hence, there was a long battle between the Pratiharas, the Rashtrakutas, and the Palas to control the Ganga Valley in general and Kannauj in particular. This struggle is known as the tripartite struggle by the historians. The Rajputs. Rajputs are well known for their bravery, honor, and prestige in Indian history. Around 9th century AD, the whole of North India had become a patchwork of small kingdoms as the power of the Rashtrakutas, the Palas, and the Pratiharas ended almost simultaneously. During the 10th century AD, three important developments took place in medieval India. Firstly, North India came in close contact with Western and Central Asian. Secondly, most of the kingdoms came under the rule of Rajputs who were constantly at war with one another. And finally, the continuous wars created political instability, which was the major cause of the beginning of Turkish invasions in North India. The Rajputs played an important role in medieval India. There were no clarity about the origins of the Rajputs. The word Rajput means son of the Raja, but all the Rajputs did not belong to the royal families. Many Rajput families trace their right to the sun and moon and thus are known as Suryavanshi and Chandravanshi, respectively. Some historians believe that the Rajputs are the descendants of foreign tribes who had settled in India. It is also believed that the main four clans of Rajputs were born from fire altars, hence they are also known as Agni Kula. They are Parmaras, Malwa, Pratiharas, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chauhans, Ajmer and Chalukyas, Gujarat. There were about 36 clans of Rajputs. Chauhan dynasty. Chauhan dynasty enjoys a special place of prestige among all the Rajput clans. The Chauhan kings ruled over Gujarat and parts of Rajasthan. Prithviraj Chauhan was the most powerful king of Chauhans. He came to the throne in 1177 AD. He made many conquests. He also checked the advances made by Muhammad Ghori of Ghor, Afghanistan by defeating him at the battlefield of Tarayan near Batinda. Even today, Prithviraj Chauhan remains a hero of many folk tales of India. Chand Bardai composed an epic poem Prithviraj Raso which narrates his bravery and heroism. This is the photo of Prithviraj Chauhan. The struggle for supremacy and constant infighting created disunity and enmity among the Rajputs. This attracted the Muslim invasions in India. The Rajputs failed to join hands with each other to defend India from Arab invasions. This is the image of coins of Prithviraj Chauhan. Do you know? Jayachand, the king of Kannauj, held a Swayamvar for his daughter Sayukta. He did not invite Prithviraj. He placed a statue of Prithviraj in the position of a doorkeeper in his court to insult him. The princess of Kannauj rejected all princes assembled and instead placed the garland around the statue's neck before the courtiers realized what had happened. Prithviraj, who had been hiding closely, sprung up and rode away with the princess. Administration in North India. The king was all powerful in North India. He was assisted by different officials. The whole empire was divided into provinces. The king was the head of the military as well as the judiciary. The king spent huge amounts of money on building up strong armies. Economy. There was a great economic disparity. The temples were the centers of riches and hence attracted a lot of invaders. The people living in villages were poor. The royal family, high officials, and the traders were prosperous. Feudal system was prevalent in North India. The kings granted land as rewards to officials who came to be known as Thakurs or Rais. The Thakurs or Rais provided military assistance to the king at times of war. The feudal system led to the decline of many empires, as the feudal lords gave only a small part of the land revenue to the king. This weakened the power of the king. Moreover, many feudal lords like Chauhans and Paramaras became powerful and established independent empires. Society. There was a rigid caste system in society. This rigid caste system divided Indian society. The kings, the feudal lords, and the Brahmins were in high position. They enjoyed a life of luxury. Land was cultivated mainly by Shudras who were burdened by taxes and social discriminations. The condition of women was quite miserable. They were deprived of education. The evil practices of sati, child marriage, and polygamy contributed to the decline in status of women. Do you know? The women of royal families committed johar, that means immolating in the fire, to protect their honor if their menfolk were defeated or killed in the battle. Religion. God Vishnu and Shiva were mainly worshipped by the Rajputs. They also worshipped goddess Kali, Lakshmi, and Durga. Rajput kings gave gifts of land to the Brahmins. Brahmadeya or Agrahara Hinduism became more powerful and popular than Buddhism. Many Buddhists took shelter in Southeast Asia when the Turks attacked monasteries at Nalanda. During this period, the Bhakti saints preached devotion to God and opposed social discrimination, superstition, and narrow mindedness. This is the image of Lingaraj Temple, Bhubaneswar, and this is the image of Khandariya Mahadev Temple, Khajuraho. Education. There was a great hurdle to education due to superstition and narrow mindedness. The elementary education was limited to temples and monasteries. The universities of Nalanda and Vikramshila became important centers of higher education. The study of philosophy and religion was encouraged, but subjects like mathematics and science were ignored. The regional languages like Marathi, Gujarati, and Bengali developed as they were the languages in which the Bhakti saints preached and composed songs. But Sanskrit enjoyed a place of prominence. Pali and Prakrit languages were used for writing books on Buddhism and Jainism. This image is showing the ruins of Nalanda. Art and architecture. Mural paintings was prevalent during this period. The example of paintings of North India can be found in palace, caves, and temples. The Jain monks and painters of Bengal developed the art of miniature paintings, that is, small pictures drawn to illustrate books. The Lingaraj and Mukteshwar temples at Bhubaneswar and the Sun Temple at Konark are the fine examples of the architecture of the period from 8th to 12th century. This is the image of Konark Sun Temple. The world famous Khajuraho temple complex was built by Chandelas, rulers of Bundelkhand, who were earlier feudatories of Pratiharas. These temples are decorated with beautiful sculptures. Trade. India developed trade relations with the countries of the East, South, East, West, and Central Asia and the European countries. This brought Indians into close contact with the developments of other countries. The common features in the political, social, and cultural life in different parts brought the people of India closer. Later on, this proved to be a great boon for Afghanistan, Turkish, and Mughal rules to establish their rule in India. We have already mentioned that there were many famous Rajput kingdoms during this period. They were always fighting with each other for supremacy. These battles made them weak. That is why they could neither define themselves individually nor unite against the Turkish invasions. Now let's look at a case study. The Tang dynasty of China. The Tang dynasty of China was founded by a military warrior. The Tang ruled lasted from 628 AD to 907 AD, and its rulers expanded its border to include new territories. The Tang started civil service examination for obtaining high position in the government administration. Under the system, people were chosen to high government position according to merit. The Tang capital Xi'an was a target city of the world. It was visited by Indians, Japanese, Koreans, Turks, and Iranians. They had constructed roads and waterways. This helped in increasing the wealth of the Tang capital through trade. This is the image of Emperor Xuanzong of Tang. Summing up, feudatories, individuals who held land under the feudal system. Samant, a subordinate chieftain or warrior under a king. Tripartite, consisting of three parts, the three kingdoms. Gurjaras, Pratiharas, Palas, and Rashtrakutas were in constantly conflict or struggle to acquire control over Kannauj. This struggle was termed as tripartite struggle. Chauhans were also known as Chahamanas. Regional languages developed very fast under the rule of Mihir Bhoj, a Pratihara king. Thank you, class. Now let's meet in the next chapter.